This is based on a Carlo Crovetti painting, and you can always tell who St. Stephen is because he's got a rock on his head and 2 rocks on his shoulder. He is literally the first Christian martyr. He gets stoned to death by the Jews, and because he blames them for killing Christ. So they literally stone him to death. So this is actually made especially for a Mexican audience, because I thought it was a bit like a piñata as well.
This is a collection that finishes in 1900. So it's a historical collection. But we like to try and keep it alive by inviting living artists to come here and choose some aspect of the collection to make their own artistic response to. We invited Michael for reasons that might seem a bit perverse, because the National Gallery is supposed to be looking after paintings, preserving artworks. Michael had built his career so far on the idea of destruction. So the idea of us working with an artist who is about destruction when we're about conservation and preservation, we thought that was really quite interesting.
Before people could read or write, they knew their saints. They knew their saints from their attributes. They would be able to tell who they were. So I was kind of interested in reanimating them really for a much more circular, kind of liberal, kind of public, and I wanted people to make them come alive. And of course, when people make them come alive, they're also destroying them, because every time you make them come alive, they hit themselves. So I wanted to combine kind of Renaissance art with kinetic art. So I decided to make sculptures, kinetic sculptures. Part of that comes from an exhibition I saw when I was 18, where there's a Swiss kinetic artist called Jean Tangler who makes very anarchic sculptures out of rubbish, out of junk, and you put your foot on the foot pedal and the sculptures come alive. They make bits fall off. So anyway, I was really enthralled by the idea that I'd never seen people laugh and smile in an art gallery before, and it had just an amazing energy. So I wanted to recreate that feeling for a younger generation of people.
Vi la exposición en el verano del año pasado, y en cuanto vi la exposición y en cuanto vi su naturaleza, el tema que contenía, el diálogo que ofrecía a los espectadores, pensé que el lugar ideal para realizarla sería el Museo de San Ildefonso, porque es un espacio que sintetiza muchas tradiciones culturales de nuestro país.
San Ildefonso es un edificio emblemático de la Ciudad de México, construido por los jesuitas. Posteriormente pasó a ser la Escuela Nacional Preparatoria, en la cual estudiaron gentes como Octavio Paz, y desde hace 20 y tantos años se convirtió en un espacio de exposiciones temporales.
This is St. Jerome, and he beats his chest with a rock because he's taken his mind off the dancing girls of Rome. So. This space, I mean, I liked it because it's like a dungeon, so it feels really, there's no daylight, so it feels very cavernous. I mean, this is a lot more space than I had at the National Gallery. I mean, everything was crammed, all the sculpture was crammed all in together. So I like this as like a torture chamber, and obviously Jerome has his rock, and St. Stephen has his rocks, so I'm just hoping the public don't get confused and start throwing the rocks at St. Jerome. because they will go to hell. The National Gallery have a photographic department, and so that's where I've got all the body parts for the saints. So it's all the attributes, and obviously some of the drawings and collages look more like the sculptures, and some of them are just literally collages and drawings. They just exist as that, really. So it's literally Saints Alive. This exhibition is Saints Alive, and this is why it's called Saints Alive.
Estamos acostumbrados a ver los santos dentro de los templos, dentro de la iglesia. Los santos aquí todavía tienen vigencia, son adorados, pero es una relación devocional, es una relación de reverencia muy solemne dentro del templo. Cuando estas imágenes los vemos en pinturas, en esculturas y en expresiones contemporáneas como las de Michael, estamos convocados a ver otros aspectos de estos personajes mitificados. Esa relación jovial de manipular los santos no le quita nada de respeto a la figura. Al contrario, es despertar la conciencia sobre por qué soy devoto de este santo, y si conozco su historia, o si no conozco su historia, es una oportunidad de revisarla y así saber por qué creo en este santo.
St. Francis always wears rags, and when he sees somebody who's poorer than him, he always wants their rags. So he has a mystic marriage to Lady Poverty. And literally this is cannibalized from one of those kind of cranes that you get at the seaside that pick up Smurfs and cuddly toys that you put 20p in and you never win them. And we've rigged it in the same way. I always tell people they have to do a good deed beforehand, but that's not true.
San Francisco se tuvo que desapegar de todos sus bienes para entrar en la orden. Y cuando Michael Landy hizo Breakdown, realmente fue impresionante el hecho de deshacerse desde el certificado de nacimiento hasta el coche, tirados dentro de esa trituradora.
A lot of people thought when I destroyed all my body belongings, I was naked, but I wasn't. I was wearing a blue boiler suit. Yeah. But St. Francis wasn't wearing a blue boiler suit. I like saints because they're self-destructive, basically. You know, and that's part of why I like destruction. It's all kind of really quite grisly, a lot of it. My saints all like deface themselves or beat themselves. I don't know what that says about me. Mexicans are very creative with their saints, and I think I too have been creative with my saints in a sense. So, you know, like they say, I mean, it was literally called like Saints Alive at the National Gallery, like literally saints coming alive, as obviously here saints are still very much alive.